Welcome to UQRUG. For those who are new, this is a gathering for people who use R or adjacent to R and want to upskill, for people who have issues and problems or just cool and interesting bits of code to share, solutions to problems that you've had. We meet, as you likely know, every last Wednesday of the month. And this is our website here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to the Hedge doc. So that collaborative pad where we can all edit and add our details in. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit because it's really hard to see. So this Hedge doc, I'll put a link to this in the chat, but you can get to it via the UQRUG website. But there's the link. The reason I'm sending you all that link is so that you can join and add yourself to the list of people who are here today. It's just a useful way of working to make sure that we get to everyone's questions that you might have. So yeah, we start by getting everyone to add their names to this page. So the way to do that is to go through to the Hedge doc here. Once you've got the Hedge doc, up in the top right-hand corner, you should be able to click the little pencil button. And that will then allow you to edit the note that we're on. The other way to do it is, if you do have the option already, you should be able to go between viewing, editing the code, and viewing both at the same time. Now, this is quite relevant to today because this document uses a markup language known as Markdown. It's a very simple form of coding language that allows you to format text. The reason I'm talking about that now is because today's overview is going to be on creating presentations in R, and you use Markdown to write that. So very useful little thing there. But if we scroll down, we should be able to get down to where I've started setting up a table underneath the UQRUG 40, got the attendees, and we can see that people know what they're doing here already, and they've already started adding their names, which is awesome to see. The way to do that, and again, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit because that's very far zoomed in and it's hard to kind of see. Yeah, so you can add your name here, and you'll see that you add your name spaced between these little bars. That's a little character that's just above the enter, with the backslash there on my keyboard. Who knows where yours is? You might end up typing over each other, but that happens. Just be polite and try and choose a row that someone's not already on. And it'll gradually create a table with everyone there. So just type in here between some of these. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and what you're here to do today. So are you here to help out? Are you here to learn? Do you have specific questions? Now, if you do have a specific question, what I'll get you to do is pop that down in the questions here. So we'll try and get to everyone, but there's a bit of first come, first serve. So if you've got a question, you can see I've got a bit of a template here already. Just come in at question 1, type your question where it says question. So my question, and then type in your name where it says your name. And then under the answers is where people can then start adding in those answers. Now, the reason we do it this way is because I'm steering the ship, but I need everyone else to power it. So as I'm talking and people putting in their questions, people can come in and answer those. So we can all collaborate and work together on those things. We see everyone putting their names in there. It looks like we don't have too many new participants, so hopefully that's everybody has access. So once everyone has added their name to the page and added their questions, we will start by going into our intro to an R package. So at the start of each RUG, just to keep things interesting and diverse each month, I get somebody to do an intro to an R package. Last week, it was Nick Garner who gave us an awesome, you can send that link again. Okay. Nick Garner, who gave an awesome overview of data table. So it's that sort of alternative to using the tidyverse. And this week, I'll be giving an overview of creating presentations in R. And that'll be using Quarto and Reveal.js. It'll be a bit of a meta presentation because I've created a presentation on presentations using the presentation software. So very self-referential. And then once I've gone through that, people have questions, we can chat about it. And then after that, we will go through all of the questions that people have put in. All right. So don't have any questions appearing yet, which is totally fine. We've got a number of people posting things in there. Right. Any other ways of working that I've missed, Luke? Any other intro stuff? I think I've said all the things I need to say. So the little intro thing that I do isn't necessarily a tutorial. It's more me trying to point out that something exists and giving you some tips on it. You can try to follow along, but for the most part, I'm just going to be showing you it so that it exists in your brain and you can maybe use it as a tool going forward. But yeah, any questions throughout the whole thing, just throw them out there, put them in chat, unmute, talk to me. And yeah, so just see if people are in there. We'll get started. So I've been wanting to do this for a little while because obviously I'm doing presentations all the time. And I'd seen some people who had made presentations using R, and I really like connecting that pipeline together. And this was a good opportunity for me to see how difficult is it, how frustrating is it, and how does it go? And it's like anything, it can be quite simple and straightforward, but as soon as you start adding layers of complexity, it starts getting more complex. So just as a short overview, if you're making a very basic presentation, it's really easy. As soon as you're trying to make like, complicated positionings of things, it starts running into what feels a bit more like coding for a website. So I can see someone else has just joined.
Me.
Oh, that's Valentina. Cool. All right. I will stop paying attention to who's joining and let someone else look at that. And I'll get into today's presentation. So as I said before, to be very nice and meta, I have created a presentation on the presentations. Could you minimize the cameras? The cameras, good. Just so that everyone can see the presentation. So the way that you make presentations in R is by using, well, it's R. There's like a whole bunch of packages that do it, but today I'm focusing on using Quarto. So if you look up Quarto presentations, you see it autofills for me because I've looked at this a lot already. Basically, Quarto uses Markdown, so it's that very simple Markdown language where you use hashes to create titles, you use like dashes to create bullet points, that kind of thing. With Quarto presentations, a hash will make like a slide title, and then you can add text underneath that. So if you're not familiar with Markdown at all, there's a really good GitHub explainer on how to use Markdown. I'll just show you that very briefly, just to give some context as to the kind of code we're looking at. So the basic writing and formatting syntax of Markdown looks like this, where you put in a heading like that, and it will create a heading once you render it. If you want to make text bold, you put asterisks around it. If you want to put in a quote, you do it that way. It's a very simple language that allows you to read the code without having to really read the text behind the code without having to understand what the code does. And that's what Quarto uses. So Quarto is an awesome package that allows you to create presentations, that allows you to create websites, all sorts of different things within R. The UQRUG website is actually a Quarto website. So I wrote this website in R and then push it up onto the Netlify website. So the really useful thing about that is that the Quarto presentation can get easily pushed into the Quarto website. So if I go to the events page on the UQRUG website, and then I go to today's workshop link, at the bottom of that, I put slides from the presentation. So within Quarto, you can basically export out HTML slides. And because it's HTML slides, you can then embed that on any website really easily. So I'm going to be jumping all over the place a little bit here, but please forgive me. If you are wanting to create a presentation, you simply, in RStudio, go New Quarto Presentation. And then you need to give it a name. So this time I'll give this one a title like Workshop Presentation, author is Nick. And then you can see that you can either export it to HTML, PDF, or even to PowerPoint. So if I create that, it'll create like a basic default template of a markdown slide. And so this is a QMD file. And so if you're familiar with Knitr or Markdown or Quarto or anything like that, this is the kind of like the metadata side of things. So this will give it a title, an author, the format that it exports to. And then each of these sections will create a separate slide. So if I were to render this, it would then make a presentation that I can then do what I want with. In this case, I've exported a presentation onto the Quarto website and embedded it in here. So the cool thing about it is I'm just on this website here, but I can navigate through the slides directly on there. So I'm going to start the presentation. So by pressing F on my keyboard, it makes it full screen within the browser. If I press escape, it'll close out of it. So it's fully interactive from within the browser. So you don't have to have PowerPoint installed or anything like that. You can just go onto a website. If you go to the website on your computer right now, you can have a look at the slides too. So if I press F, it'll make it full screen. So as I was showing, Quarto enables you to export things from within R. And because it's inside of R, anything you create in R can then also be exported onto here. So graphs, code, images, whatever you make in R, you can put onto here. Go to the next slide. Basically, you click the render button in R and it'll create this. And then any code that is there, it'll turn into slides. All right, now we're going to get quite meta where the slides are going to be self-referential and talk about themselves. So when you click the render button, if you've put in the markdown 1+1, it will then give you an output of 2. You can also show the code that creates the code as well. So this is the code from the last slide. When you click the render button, it'll generate the thing. And this is the code that made that last slide. For me to be able to show code like this, you basically, so if you are familiar with writing code in Markdown or in R Markdown or Quarto, you put the R Markdown and Quarto allow you to write prose, like regular text, and then insert sections of code like this that will then actually run. If you don't want it to run but just show the code, you put a little dot there. So the cool thing is it means that you can do stuff like this, where if you've generated a graph or an image or something like that, you can then immediately put it onto the slides. So this isn't some image that I have to go looking for and put it into here. I just used this code down here, and that code generates this. And because this is a HTML slide and I used Plotly, it's not just a static image, it's an interactive image as well. So I can, zoom in on sections of the map, all using Plotly, and look at those different things inside that map. Instead of just having a static PowerPoint presentation, you can have a fully interactive Quarto presentation in HTML. If you want to make a title slide that doesn't have any text under it, you simply use a single hash. If you use 2 hashes, it will make a heading slide. So the heading up here is created using 2 hashes. This heading is just a single hash with no text following it, and it makes a big slide like that. So if you want to start getting really fancy with the way things are set up, you can create divs. So if you've ever done any website coding at all, you're probably familiar with a div. If you don't know what a div is, it stands for, I think, division or something like that. So it's like a section divider. And you can create those by using 3 columns in the R code itself. So, for example, if you wanted to make font larger and centered, you could use a div to set that up. So this is just regular text that I've typed in, haven't done anything fancy with it. Whereas if I use those 3 columns, give it some HTML styling, it will then style that with HTML code. So it's at this point where you start to see that it would probably be easier to do that sort of font centering and making things larger in PowerPoint, because you just click the button and make it bigger. And that's where things start to get complicated. You know, if you're just putting in simple dot points and simple lines of text, it's simple. Once you start doing, oh, the font's going to be bigger here and smaller there and changing things around, it gets a little bit more fiddly. Back onto the simple route of things, if you want to put incremental points, you know, transitional things, you simply give that div the incremental tag, and then everything on that slide will then appear as a bulleted list step by step. That's really easy to do. The trouble with the incremental thing is it only works on lists. So if you want images or code or that sort of stuff to appear, you have to use a fragment tag, which is where you just, after the div, you type fragment like this. You can copy and paste the formatting syntax instead of pointing and clicking. Exactly. So David is right, because we are using, if you're using the same thing again and again, you just copy that bit of code and paste it on the next slide, and the next thing can be centered and formatted. So you can automate things a lot more. But yeah, using fragments, you can then tag the fragment to do fancy animations like fade in and then fade out. You can make things fade up and then highlight red. And so this has got a tag like this where it says fragment, and then it just says highlight red, and it makes it do that. And you can also use it to reveal images and blocks of code and things like that. So this is the code that I've used on this page to create this section here. You could use things like RStack to make things appear. So this is a fragment that has another thing appearing on top of itself. It's fairly straightforward to do things like that. You can add in footnotes and speaker notes. So this is, I should show you. If you tag a div with aside, it will create footnotes. If you tag it with notes, it will give you speaker notes. So if you type in aside, it will create a footnote. And if you type in notes, it will create speaker notes. So on the topic of speaker notes, if you press S on your keyboard, it will open up the speaker notes. So this is useful if you've got a separate presentation screen. This is all happening within the browser, and it means that you can have your presentation on one screen. I've just got one screen here, so it doesn't really work for me right now. But you can see that this is linked directly with the slides behind it. And it means that you can see, you know, the timer that it is, the time, how long you've been going for. You can see any speaker notes that you've added. So, you know, if I was only sharing the presentation, you wouldn't see those speaker notes. You can also see the upcoming slide as well. So it's a pretty nifty kind of upcoming slide presenter mode to have. I'm going to close out of that because obviously one screen is a bit messy doing it that way. But while we're looking at the navigation menu, if I make this full screen again by pressing F, we can go to the navigation menu and use that to go through all of the different slides. We can also look at the tools here. It means we can make it full screen, speaker view. We can go to a whole slide overview of all the slides. And we can also change it to PDF export mode, which allows you to save the whole thing as a PDF in one go. You can add columns. So in Markdown, you can easily add columns to split things into 2 different sections. If you add text outside that column, it'll put it above. Put it below the columns, it'll put it below. You can add columns to split the page. And then this is what that kind of code looks like. So you've got your div tag, and then you write columns after it, and it'll start creating columns. So this is really good for if you need to split things up. Again, in PowerPoint, you'd probably just create a text box and create a second text box and type that in. But as David pointed out, it's really easy to just copy that kind of code and use it again and again. And a really neat thing is when you show code like this, clicking this button has now copied that code and I can paste it into R and use it. You can add background images. Background images and appeared on here. I must have not uploaded it to the website, so there should be an image in the background on this page, and it should work like this. I think I didn't update the code when I updated the images. Okay, that's my bad. This code should actually say img/Quarto because I moved all of the images into an image folder and didn't check that before I uploaded the things today. But just imagine that there is the Quarto logo repeated along the middle of the slide. It's very impressive, isn't it?
It's okay.
You can add images in an absolute position on the slide. So if you were to type in something like this, it'll add an image exactly where you want it. So this, again, is specific to HTML coding and falling into more of the fiddly side of things. You can add in tabs. So you can put one kind of content in one tab and then a different related content on that same slide. So if you wanted to have things sectioned off like that, you could do so. You can change the color of a particular slide by changing the background color. You can create some really fancy animated slides. And this is where things get really complicated. This is just a bunch of HTML code animating, creating some boxes of a certain height and shape. And then it animates them into a different shape. So what that looks like is it makes some boxes of different shapes and colors, and then the animation will turn it into that. So you can make some really nifty little animations.
I'm just checking the sound in case anyone unmuted the microphone.
Oh yes, that classic.
Yeah.
Right, so that's kind of the main little different things that you can do and fiddle around. I think the main things that if I were to use this, it would be just using a simple image tag and placing it in, having columns and bulleted points. I'd probably leave it at that, and that's a pretty simple presentation. Oh, and also code inserts is the really nice part, and things created with code. But if you're wanting to change the way a lot of different things work throughout the whole document, you put that in the YAML. So I talked about that little heading metadata section at the top. YAML stands for yet another markup language. Back in the day when there was all these different yet another this and that's and this and that's, and this is yet another of one of those yet anothers. You can see here that I've set the format to be Reveal.js, which is the JavaScript library that creates these HTML presentations. And then you can change the theme. So I can make this into dark mode. You can change the logo. So you can see the logo down here that's persisted with us is the RUG logo. I've got a persistent footer, see there. And then you can set other things like, you can set it so that all of the font is automatically smaller on every page. You can make it so that any overflow content automatically has a scroll bar attached to it, but I've set that to false. You can also do things like, you could set incremental to true so that every single time there's a bullet list, it's always incremental and you don't have to tag it. So you can automatically set a lot of things like that, which is neat. But there's a lot more you can do. You can do, there's like a chalkboard thing that allows you to then like run it and then you can like draw on the slide sort of thing. You can have time slides. You can have extra navigation options. So like, you'll see I've added these arrows here. They're not there by default. I added them in to make it clearer on a website. You can see that there's this little bar down the bottom here. I can actually click on that and navigate through the whole presentation as well. You can have funky slide transitions. You can make it so that when there's a link, it previews the link instead of taking you to the website. You can add slide numbers. You can zoom in on slides. So if I hold down Alt and then click somewhere, zooms in, which is kind of nifty. Probably should have done that when I had like an image on the screen or something interesting to look at. But anyway, and you can also attach videos in. Because this is a HTML website, you can easily embed YouTube videos or videos on your website or from wherever. So that's pretty much all the different things. But when I was talking to Luke about it, he started asking me a question and I knew what the question was going to be, which is, what about converting a PowerPoint file? And the answer that I found is sort of. You can sort of do it. So there are a few packages out there that allow you to convert from a PowerPoint file to a Markdown file. And if we get it into Markdown, good, because that's what Quarto uses. So I found a package called SlideX, which converts PowerPoint slides to R Markdown, which is good, but it's designed for a slide package called Zeringen. I don't know how to say that, which is an older slide making package within R. I haven't used it too much. I was really focused on Quarto for this. And what it should be able to do, and advertisers being able to extract text, maintaining headings and bullet levels, bolding, italicizing, pictures and links. However, I found that it did not actually extract the images. So it give me all of the Markdown code, but not images. So it's good for extracting all of the text from a PowerPoint file, putting it into Markdown, but then you have to do a bunch of editing. So basically you install SlideX, you run SlideX, and then you use convert PPTX, and that does it. It's very simple.
And it just creates a Markdown file that actually say.
Yeah, it'll create a Markdown file and then an associated folder that has the images in it that are not there.
Yeah, right.
So for example, I put in Nick Garner's PowerPoint slides from last week, and this is what it spat out. So this is the first slide from Nick's presentation. I think these pluses are the way that
Does bullet points.
Zeringen does bullet points, which unfortunately, when I then put that into Quarto without doing anything to it, this is what it gives me. But obviously, if I were to fix that, I'd just do a find and replace for all the pluses and we'll be good.
Yeah.
But that wasn't enough. I found a Python package, and I know this isn't our user group, but you know, we accept all types here. Reticulate is a package. So, you know, there's a Python package called PPTX2MD. So it's, I mean, what does it do? The name's on the tin. It does the same thing as SlideX. It advertises all the same stuff, but it actually pulled the images out. So the issue is that you do have to run this through the terminal. I couldn't run it through Reticulate. It was just kicking up too much of a fuss. I couldn't get it run through Spider either. So just running it straight through the terminal would do it. So you install it, you import it, you go to the folder where it's located, and then you run the script on it. It's not too complicated. If you've never used Python before, it probably is too complicated, but it's useful to know a number of languages. So this is what it spat out for me. So you can see it gave it in a Norris cat. We're pretty much done. So yeah, this is being recorded. So if you do want a copy, I can send it through to you. This is a much neater presentation of it, I found. You can also see it's correctly used a Markdown tag to insert an image. So for those who aren't familiar, that's what it looks like to put an image in Markdown. So you go to exclamation point, brackets, and all that sort of stuff. And then this is referring to the folder. That means / and that means space, in case you weren't sure. And that creates something that looks like this. So it embeds the image. It actually has the dot points. Again, I didn't do anything to this just to show you what it looks like spitting it out raw. You would fix it. You would change it so that the text is slightly smaller. You would change the location of the image, and it'd be all good. So final thoughts on that are that creating slides in Quarto is fairly straightforward. You can do some really cool things. And the fact that you can just embed it on a website like this, I think is awesome. However, the process of trying to recreate PowerPoint slides or even just recreate an already existing presentation was a little bit difficult. So a simple structure using basic columns, basic images, all that sort of stuff, and dot points, really, really easy to do that kind of thing. So it's kind of, if you try and do exactly what you would do in PowerPoint, you're going to spend a few hours fiddling over things. Whereas if you're just creating a simple presentation that's got links, images, outputs from R, dot points, columns and stuff like that, it's easy, it's good, and I would recommend it for that. I gave myself the challenge of trying to recreate Nick Garner's slides exactly as they were made in PowerPoint, and I have put them up from last week, and it was very, very frustrating and difficult to do. But that's everything for today. I will show you the slides from last week and you go have a look at those. I've put them on the website, but any questions about Quarto or Quarto presentations? Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I'm really impressed with that. I don't know why I hadn't noticed that option when I'm teaching sort of, using guitar and Markdown.
Slides down here in the slides.
Yeah.
If I go to that, it'll take me to the data table ones from last week, because a lot of people were asking, hey, can I have the slides from last week? And I emailed them around, but if I can just have them on the website, that's even better, right?
Yes.
So they're here on the website, and I'll try and do this quite consistently, is have those slides on the site. But here you can see, it's confusing. When I rendered that last time, it was in dark mode, and for some reason it swapped out of dark mode. But this is the creation that I made of last week's one. We all saw that slide already. There's all those images. This was a little bit fiddly to do, but you can see the columns are in action there. Again, just using columns. That's a combination of columns and dot points. This slide was surprisingly difficult to do, just because it had so many different elements to it. But yeah, I won't go through that now, but yeah, you can see that that now exists there. And if you did want to get to the slides just by themselves, this external link will take you directly to those slides. And so you can see it's located on the UQRUG website at that link there. But it's also just on the events page too. Cool. So that's Quarto. Thank you to everybody who filled out the form asking what to do next. There were a fair few people who put down presentations. There was a bunch of other things that people put down, but this one was one of the more popular ones, and it's something I've been wanting to have a play with. So thank you for giving me that challenge. Next month, we'll likely do either an overview on spatial analysis in R or statistics in R. Those were kind of the two other big popular ones. This just the challenge of having them done this month was a little too great, but I will, in the follow-up email from this RUG, I will send out the slides. Sorry, I'll send out the slides, follow-up email, and also another survey that you can fill out. So if you don't want to see stats and you really want to see that spatial stuff, fill out that form that I send out, and yeah, we'll do that next time.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to react to everyone who has been posting good things about your presentation.
No, that's lovely. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, there, acknowledged.
All right, well, with the presentation out of the way, let's go back to the Hedgedoc and see if any questions have popped up.
We have 2 questions.
We have 2 questions. Excellent. So we've got one question from your name. No, sorry. We've got another question from Nikesh. We've already got some answers in there as well. All right, so the first question here is that's from Trina. Wanting to learn about Markdown. So yeah, for those who've never come across Markdown before, that would have been a lot of stuff all at once. I do apologize. I brushed over Markdown, brushed over Quarto, and all of a sudden we're doing presentations. What's going on? And it's very much one of those things that, yeah, that was a lot of information there. So hopefully I didn't overwhelm you with information, but that was very much more, look at the cool stuff you can do. Maybe at some point in the future, you'll be like, I could do this that way. That happened the other day when Valentina asked a question asking, like, if I wanted to make like a deck of cards and have it shuffle automatically, could I do that in an app? And I was like, you can make some slides in Quarto and use the shuffle option, because there's a shuffle option. I don't know if we'll end up doing that, but it's just to give you ideas for things.
And also, most importantly, you also know that now within the team, the trainers team, now we can help you as well if you're going down the path of creating a presentation. Like, you're not on your own, just send us an email, and Nick evidently has done it now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. No. If for some reason wanting to give yourself the challenge of turning your PowerPoint presentation into an R slide, it definitely helps you with that.
I
But
I was
creating
just
from
sort of-
scratch isn't too difficult. I mean, you saw that basic template they created in R. It's, it's not much more to add a bit more to it. So this is effectively R Markdown. This is auto Markdown. So this file would be a .qmd file instead of an RMD file. But two good answers here. One is showing that there is a good R for reproducible science workshop on doing knitr. So that's a really good one from the software carpentry group. They've got a bunch of really good courses. And we actually, at the library here, we've got a training module on knitr as well. So we've got one called reproducible reports. I think it's based off the software carpentry one. I think that's what Stefan did. I'm not sure though. And yeah, so you can check out those courses. We run that course probably once a semester. So it's not part of our basic R lineup. Maybe it should be. It's not part of our basic R lineup. We run it kind of, once a semester. So I think potentially when we are running our advanced classes in R, I'll send out an email, like in that UQRUG of that month, I'll let people know that we've got some of those coming up. David, you got a question?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure if my microphone was working. Yeah, a couple of things. I mean,
We definitely have sound on this computer because I can't hear David.
Is he talking?
yes, hello.
All right. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't. I mean, we do.
So if anyone has been talking at any point in time, we've not actually been hearing you in the room. It's definitely our end of things. This room is notorious for it. If you've been to a UQRUG, you've definitely experienced this before.
Oh,
Well, not unless you click that to unmute.
It doesn't want to interact with anyone.
Oh, it's so close. All right, we can hear you now, David. Go for it.
good. Yeah, look, I was just going to make the point. I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't worry so much about converting my crappy old PowerPoints into this. I'd see this as a kind of from this day forward thing. That if you're giving a presentation about code and coding, then this is the logical, sensible way to do it. To have that interactivity, to have that programmability, and sort of in the same way that I sell knitr as a way to interact with colleagues and provide them with demos of what you're talking about. You can take this is next level. You're then sort of doing a whole presentation in that same kind of interactive, live sort of mode. I think it's fantastic.
I agree, David, but I was asking because I'm lazy.
Well, it's well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't know much more than I get from sort of opening a blank knitr document. Although I did play with some formulas and doing a sort of an embedded graph and a bit of LaTeX and stuff. But yeah, it was I guess that's because I've used those kind of really cryptic sort of plotting and markup environments for decades. So. But look, I think it's like a lot of things. I think it's actually worth the effort. Of the things that I teach on day 4 in that software carpentry course, being able to create dynamic reports and share them with people who can then use them, I think is gold. It's the best part of the day, I think.
Yeah. So for those who aren't aware, knitr allows you to take that R code or R Markdown file and turn it into a PDF file or a document file or whatever, and just do that export. And if you need to update the data, you just update the data source and recreate the report. You don't have to retype everything. It's just, once you've set it up, it's a really beautiful process that's really straightforward. You just have to start doing it.
Yeah, but I sort of sell it to the students who have a hands-on supervisor and wants to sort of try things that for themselves, or part of the discussion is to actually play with the code, and I think it's provides that sort of possibility. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. So one of the things with one thing, once you get into that environment of doing it, it makes it a lot easier, and that's part of why we use this hedge.doc document, because we're using Markdown here, so it gets you used to using Markdown. And the other side of it is that what I've actually done is as we do one of these every month, we get a new, we do a new hedge doc for each month. You know, we get people to put in their questions, we get people to put in their names and everything like that. Because this is all in Markdown, I can take this out, put it onto the UQRUG website, and all of our past meetings are now on here. And because it's all Markdown, I don't have to change anything. I just copy the Markdown code from HedgeDoc, put the Markdown code into Quarto, and then it creates, well, this is last month's overview. And you can see the questions that came up, we can see the people that attended, and we can see what questions appeared. And the main reason I'm doing this is so that we've got that repository of questions and answers, because this website's now searchable. You can go up to the search bar here and do a search for, you know, if you did a search for data table, you will find the UQRUG data table questions. So once you start writing things in Markdown and Quarto and Nitar, it really, everything speaks to each other. Like in a GitHub document, if you've written a README there, that's also using Markdown. So you can copy that from there. Everything kind of plugs into each other really nicely. And now you can do it with slides too. Raul, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, hi. It was a wonderful presentation because I didn't know it was here in RStudio. So I have a question about the format. I'm guessing that you can export it in a sort of HTML or something like that to just bring it to any computer, or how do you do it, for example, in a meeting or a congress or something like that?
In a meeting, did you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you cannot bring your computer everywhere. So how do you export it from R and visualize in other computers?
No, good question. Well, so if you were to, so this is the template one that it automatically creates itself when I made that new one. If I click render, it's going to ask me to save it somewhere. No, why did it go straight to my documents? Let's put it into here. Yeah, I'll just call this one workshop. That saves it as workshop.qmd. It now renders the file, so it's going to turn this file into a HTML file. So it knits it into a HTML file. And then here's the HTML file.
Okay, cool.
So obviously this is just in my browser, but this is just opened locally. But if I wanted to then take that to a conference or something like that, I just need the HTML file that I just outputted there. So where did I save this to? So I saved it into there. So I'm just going to open up. Just going to show everyone my Windows Explorer. So when I click render, then it turned that workshop QMD file into a workshop HTML file. And so this workshop HTML file is all I need for the presentation. And so if I want to put that onto a website, which I have done with the UQRUG one we just watched then, that's how I did that. But I could also email that HTML file to someone or put on a USB, you know, that's how you move it around.
Okay.
Did that answer your
Thank
question?
you. Yeah.
Cool.
That's really cool, Nick. That might be the answer to question 2, which I've asked. But yeah. So once you save that HTML and you can email it to someone, that carries all the information that the person needs to interact with the presentation. They don't need R running in the background.
No, so it's not like a Shiny server or something that does need Shiny. It's just a HTML file. So
Okay.
I can probably try sending that to you all.
Have you tried running a Shiny object in the presentation?
I haven't, no.
By any chance?
I love Shiny. I think Shiny is really awesome with what you can do with it, but I tend to avoid it because you have to be in. You need Shiny running to have a Shiny.
Yeah.
So I very much I do use it when I need it, but wherever I can, I try and. Yeah, I like being very easily accessible and compatible with a lot of devices, and that's why I really like this, because it's just outputs to HTML. You don't need a Shiny server running, but I'm sure you could integrate Shiny into it, but I don't know. I guess that's something worth playing with. If anyone wants to try downloading that workshop HTML file, should be able to confirm that you can download that and then see that very quick test presentation I made. You don't have to, but something you can do. Trin had a follow-up question. Oh, and I can see that there's been many answers to that question. How do you do UQ's training without a UQ account? There's not really a way to do that, unfortunately. If you're a member of the UQ community at all, in any way, so if you're a staff member or student or a community member at UQ, you would be able to. So we could potentially talk about that later on. But as David's pointed out, USC is a member of the QCIF regional organization, so they have training courses done through QCIF. David's also given a link to the training you can do there. That's awesome.
Also, a lot of our resources are actually like open access. Correct me if I'm using the wrong wording, but in our training website, you can see the materials that we normally use in our training. And so, yeah, so in this website, there is a link to software training resources. And when you click there, then you will see it is arranged per type of software or type of programming language. So under RStudio, you'll see there are the materials. So the links to all of our GitHub stuff, as well as some videos for the introductory sessions and a couple of the advanced sessions. So feel free to use those. Those are there for anyone to use. And I'm pointing this out because sometimes it's difficult to get a spot in those QCIF. Still go to the QCIF, attempt that, because those are very advanced, full day workshops or half a day workshops, and they're very comprehensive. But in the meantime, if you don't have to hold your breath until they run the next one, you can use our resources.
So this, I mean, it is very different having a live workshop compared to just going through a manual. But like, as I was saying, this is our NITAR reproducible reports class that we run. This is the handout that we have. So you could follow through that, but yeah, it's different having that live presentation. But if you find resources out there like this, you go through and do them and then run into issues, you're more than welcome to come to UQRUG and then ask questions about it too. So it doesn't just have to be, it doesn't just have to be for UQ students to benefit from that side of things. We're more than happy for people to use those resources and benefit from them. Whether that's the ones that we have here or the software carpentry ones, but yeah, bring your questions to us here if you run into issues. Because that's the advantage to live training, is being able to ask questions and get answers quickly. But you can do that once a month, I guess. Just save them all up for the last Wednesday of the month, or start a USC rug. And have that on like the second Wednesday, and that way you get twice a month.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
There is a second question.
There's a second question, which was Mikesh's question, which I think we sort of started answering.
Oh, sorry.
Solutions for saving R markdown files with Shiny objects locally in the server. Yeah, we did start answering that one. Unfortunately, yeah, Shiny objects need a server running.
Share a thing for us to download.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, Valentina has pointed out that I was missing a folder. Okay, so it does actually need a bit more associated with it. Because it needs the libraries, it needs the JavaScript library to be able to run things. Okay, maybe it's not as simple as just drop and drag like that. All right. Well, No, I'm glad that, okay, so going back to that thing before, that Raul's question of how do you just take it along to a meeting? Well, it's not, I guess it's not as simple as just having the HTML file, because you do need the associated workshop files. So this is the files associated with the workshop.html. So I would need to give that to you as well, it seems, for it to be successful. So if I open this, it should run without issue. And it does. But as soon as I detach it from this workshop files folder, so if I were to take it to a workshop, I would need both of those, which actually drops the convenience a little bit. But if I'm uploading it to a website, it's easy enough to upload both of those at the same time.
But that's no different to having a PowerPoint with, unless you have a massive PowerPoint file with all the pictures in it. If you have a directory structure and link to external files, you've still got the same issue.
Yeah.
I don't see it as such a sort of showstopper. And you could take your laptop and you'd have it. You could just run the same thing with Shiny. You could run a Shiny server in your laptop and just display that. That's how most of the development work goes. People, you end up running a local service on your laptop, and you can demonstrate Shiny quite happily that way.
Yeah, no, that's true. So it's, I mean, yeah, if you've got your own computer there and you're running it from there, there's no issues.
We can experiment with this file sharing thing if you want, and then get back to the group if you want to.
Yeah, I guess I think the way that I would recommend doing it, so that you can do it anywhere, is upload it to the web. So if you've rendered the document, you could then put it onto like a Netlify server or something like that, and that way it is accessible anywhere. You could push it up to the web. So I put mine onto Netlify. That's where the UQRUG website is. I'm not paying for that. That's all a free service. So if you want to make your own website, maybe that's. Did I do a Quarto? I did a Quarto overview one time, didn't I? Yeah. If you want to learn about making a website, there's some useful resources online for making websites, and then I think this plugs into it well. You would just make a website for the presentation, and that way anyone can access it anywhere.
I don't know if when you did that one, if you recorded it though.
Yeah.
Go to the Quarto website. Nick, you've got open there. Back 2 tabs.
Oh, you mean my actual presentation?
No, the Quarto, the official Quarto website. There you go. No.
Oh, thank you. The Zoom controls are hiding the screen.
In here on the left is a publishing area, and it will outline under publishing basics the different areas or different tools that can be used to publish, to be able to share these things. So for instance, Netlify that Nick just talked about is listed, but there's things such as GitHub Pages. Quarto have their own publishing or hosting service, because that's effectively what we're talking about, is hosting a domain to share these across other computers. If you don't want to do that, then yeah, David's suggestion around some of the local files or just on your own computer, absolutely. But there's a list of some other hosters besides Netlify as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, there you go. The Quarto website is great for a lot of content. There's a lot of really useful guides in there. But as with all big things, there's a lot of information on there, and it can be hard to see it all. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Publishing.
While we're on that topic, could I just ask everyone? So with this publishing, so when we talk about QMD and the Shiny stuff, well, we need it makes sense to upload it to a server so you can view it anywhere. Does anyone have much experience with controlling who has access to the HTML document? So for example, if I want to share data with someone, but we're in a research project and we don't want it to be public, what kind of security do we have that someone who shouldn't be seeing the data sees the data?
In that instance, Vikesh, I would not suggest any of the ones that are just listed on that page that Nick has open, because they're intended to be public and open to everyone.
Right.
Without thinking, because you raised a very good question, and I haven't thought about it, but off the cuff, I would think about any sort of secure cloud storage. For instance, as UQ has their own research data management system that can handle all sorts of files. For instance, HTML would be able to store on that. You can control to access it, but other cloud services do the same. OneDrive, for instance. But yeah, any sort of online storage where you can control the access.
Right.
I guess it depends on the requirement as well. Are you looking to use this for version control, or are you looking just to, control who can read it?
Yeah.
So there'll be a few questions to ask, but yeah, that's having, for example, the Shiny service that I run for UQ projects. None of them have needed controlled access, but that might come. The day might come, and it would have to be hooked into Access Federation and that sort of thing. And have some sort of access control group. So yeah, it's easier when stuff is wide open, shall we say?
Yeah, sure. I suppose I'll just
easier.
Yeah, I think it's not a massive deal at the moment. I'll just preface what we're doing, so in case other people have a similar issue in the future. So, so we've got research data that only, you need to be on an ethics approval to see the data. Then everyone who is involved in the research might not have an understanding of R or access. I mean, we could just download R on everyone's computers and they could do it, but I was just looking for an easier way to share the data. Yeah, does that that just sort of gives you an idea of where?
Well, sharing the data, but if you want to work, I mean, that's what the RDM is about. So the UQ RDM is a access controlled. You as the owner of the data have ultimate control over who can access, and whether it's read only or read write. So then, if people were then using R, they could then, if they can map the drive maybe, or I suppose if they're external to the institution, then they're going to have to be on a VPN connection or something to do as a drive map. But there would be ways to do it. I mean, you've got the cloud interface as well.
Yeah.
Just depends on exact requirements that you've got. What's the Venn diagram of who's and who would where?
Yeah. No, I think for us the easiest solution would just be we'll install R and have like an R running in the background to drive the visualizations of the data. I was just looking for an easy way to do
having like an R server over the top of an RDM.
So yeah, so everyone's got access to the RDM who's looking at the data. We wouldn't be sharing any of the visualizations with someone who doesn't have access to the RDM.
Okay.
Yeah, so if everyone had R running in the background, they could run the Shiny objects, query the data, query visualizations. Yeah, I think it would solve that problem. I was just being lazy and saying, oh, maybe I can make a HTML file and share the HTML file.
Yeah, well, do you have to use Shiny objects?
No, it was just the solution that I found to quickly query the data.
Because if you can do it without Shiny objects, you could realistically, create an output like this one with workshop.html, right? And then just have that in the RDM. You don't have to have R running, but you just have to point the user who has access to RDM. They don't have to have R installed. Tell them to open up the HTML file, and that will then open up, it's either a Quarto website or a Quarto presentation or whatever it is. Like the UQRUG website, this is a HTML file that I've got on my computer. I can run it directly from my computer. I don't have to have it on the web. And so if I had it on the RDM, anyone who has access to that RDM drive could also go into it and have a look at it. So that might be an alternative for you. It's just have it in a HTML file.
Depends on how much data is supporting the plots and analysis you're trying to do.
Yeah, it depends on how.
But then again, if they're within the UQ network, they can just do a drive mapping to access the actual data itself.
Yeah,
they would have permission to do that. But if you're dealing with externals, that becomes a bit more problematic. I think you have to come through some other means, like like a Dropbox kind of interface. So they'd actually have to take away a copy of the files,
Yeah.
which might be problematic in itself.
Yeah. But no, if it's still within the hypothetical that it's just people who have access to the RDM, then I think creating a Quarto HTML like that is a good idea.
Oh, somebody's echoing.
Sorry.
Cool. All right. I'll have a look into it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the ideas.
No, that's great. I like seeing interesting things come out of these random presentations. Yeah, I think did anyone else have any other questions? Like we only had the 2 questions about well, kind of what I talked about today. Did anyone have any issues, or is it you've come back from mid-semester, you come back from the mid-year break, you don't have any issues at the moment yet, and you're going to build those up for next month? Is that kind of what's happening?
Yeah, I've gone down the GitHub pages when I'm whole with Quarto now.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've got a very specific issue that I'm not sure if it relates to R or if it relates to the updates on the UQ computers with OneDrive, but I'm having problems installing Stan. So I want to run some Bayesian models, and I've got the code here to try and run the model, but I'm coming up with this error that I don't understand. So I'm not sure where to target, like whether I need.
Can you share?
Yeah.
Yeah, share it, because like David's here from the RCC and does all sorts of bits and pieces, so you never know. We've got people from all over UQ, so if it's tangentially R related, I'll allow it.
I'm not sure what it relates to really.
I talked about Python today, so yeah.
I'm trying to share, but I can't while.
It's because I'm sharing, so go for it.
You open that door, Meek.
So I've actually managed to
ours, it's
install. But I've managed to install these 2 packages, and I'm trying to use this one, which is a Bayesian regression modeling package. But then when I actually try and run the model, so if I run this, they've already been there. And they'll fit the model like this, but it basically comes up with this error up here. So that's already been run there. And I have no idea where to start trying to, and I've started having issues all since everything's been uploaded onto OneDrive. So all my folders where I store everything for R is now on OneDrive. And
Oh yeah, we've got that's yeah, look, don't get me started on that topic.
Could you scroll down to the error code again?
yeah.
It's incremental. So with each kind of patch cycle or update, there seems to be more of my stuff ends up on OneDrive, but I don't want it there.
I think it's a library issue. I mean, it's like it's missing a library or something like that.
Yeah, that certainly does. So that you're building this on your local machine.
Yeah.
It's
So there's the same error.
Quarto tools. It's on the C drive. So why? So what? It's put the R tools 4.3 folder into OneDrive, has it? It syncs it up there.
Yeah, so I did manage to get a screenshot from earlier when I tried this and tried a few different things. I can bring up the screenshot, but it seems that there's an issue with make, and I'm not sure what that is. So make is still directing to OneDrive, and that's what's stopping.
Yeah. Okay. So what you need to do is, do you have could you open up like a file manager sort of thing, the file mangler application?
What's that one?
Like Windows
Like the file manager thing, the
control. If you press Windows X, it'll look or Windows E.
Windows E.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, I need to share.
Yes, the old only sharing one window.
Share screen.
Good vein of IT support, online IT support.
So everything here, this used to be this PC used to be, or I used to have a folder for OneDrive and one on my local computer, but now these are all on OneDrive as well.
Your downloads should be safe. So it's only the desktop So where exactly is the are the bits of R that you're dealing with? It was in the root directory, wasn't it? The C drive.
The C drive.
Yeah. So go down to where it says C this PC C drive. OS
Yeah.
disk.
And then there's
Yeah, so you've got RTools 40 and RTools 43. Are you saying that stuff's not being synced though?
No. So I've created this in the last couple of weeks trying to resolve this issue.
Right. Okay.
On a
So
separate
where is
file.
the stuff that you were building against?
Before?
Well, there was stuff that moved up to OneDrive. Can you show me the?
Yeah. All of these folders. So the documents are all mapping to OneDrive.
So the code you're running though, you're not actually like that's just like a test bit of code, right? If you go back to
That's just
RStudio, could you paste that code in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not referring to documents anywhere. It's just you're just running like a test bit of code, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be referring to a file anywhere. It's some sort of it's part of R that's running into the issue. That's
So well, so I assume the two library loads work. There's no issue with that.
Yeah, those ones work finally. That took a little bit of work as well to get that working, but I'll place that here in the chat.
I can say I'm having trouble installing CMD Stan R.
In the packages list, for the normally have like a place where they have been installed when you install packages on the computer. You know that we have that packages right here.
The R library path should be local to the machine anyway. So this is a program, like an application here, by the look of it. So each of those, could you step us through those lines, please, one at a time?
As in running one line of code at a time.
Yeah, just want to make sure there's nothing we've missed that's maybe clear out the console.
Run each one by, yep.
Just one at a time.
it only tripped over at the very last one. Everything else ran.
Yeah, it's just fitting the model. So it's actually using that BRMS package.
It says it. Yeah, okay, so all that's okay. That's all right. Data frames X, Y.
Literally just that fit one.
So why is it compiling stand?
So I think it uses this package requires a previous one, which is this one up here.
When that fails again, in the console, can you type .lib paths and paths with a capital P?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's what we want.
First one.
And run that.
I can disrupt this.
Is okay with you disrupting it?
It's just not stopping.
Thank you for the feedback. It's okay. See you next time.
Yeah, that's all local to the
Next
machine.
time. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That should like because that lib paths for those still watching. That's where the packages are installed for this on this device. It's in one of those two locations, but like that's not on OneDrive.
My computer's
I
about.
was worried that it had like grabbed your app data and thrown it onto OneDrive or something like that, but that's
It had. So this is a new folder that I've created and installed all the packages on there. It seems that there's a function called make. See, I don't really understand everything so well. I've been just working bit by bit. It says make, and the make is still going to OneDrive, which I think is something that it uses through that. I'll just go to that spot over there.
yeah. There's a PowerPoint in the floor here.
Yeah, everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just so that it doesn't run out of battery all the way. And I only managed to get a screenshot of that, so I'm not really sure what's going on, and I don't know whether this is an IT issue or if this is a.
Well, I'm still puzzled about why it would be compiling something. I thought everything should have been pre-compiled. But maybe is it a stand specific thing?
Maybe I've also never used.
So does the library that first on line 1 does that run and doesn't error?
Okay. Yeah.
Just run the first line again to see make sure it's happy with.
This one, yeah.
The very first line, the library CMD.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to do git install to install CMD Scanner? Is that a
I don't think so.
No,
I'd run that one as well, just to be sure.
yeah, and run 11
Not
again.
everything else is set up, so. Yeah, it's obviously what it does. It's presumably it's taking that functional representation of what you're trying to do, and it's got to create some sort of customized build of it. So the make is just the process that it uses to compile programs, but
If that's in a different, could the make be in a different location and causing issues? So that's my screen. I think I'm sharing, so I can share this.
so where is the R that you're running right now? Is it installed locally on the disk, or was it something that got scooped up into OneDrive?
It was on OneDrive. I got some IT help and we reinstalled it on the local drive.
Okay.
So it should all be okay
It's just
now.
yeah, we see their app data local.
Yeah, it should be
I
on the
installed
local.
the program too, and it's compiling the stamp program when I launch it, and it gave me the same error. So it's nothing related
That's actually it's the linking phase. So ld.exe is the linker. So that's it's almost the end of the process where it takes it gathers up all the pieces that need to interact with each other and puts them and introduces them to each other. And seems to be the bit where it's failing, because it says ld.exe, that it's got a temporary file name. Wow.
So when was this working?
It never has. So I'm just starting to use.
Okay.
I've just been using like R normally. I did the update on my computer, the one that we needed to do.
Yeah.
Recently, and then since then I couldn't install like basic packages like dplyr and just like basic.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's not working.
Nothing is working on no.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, but since then I got some IT help to remove everything so I can at least install packages.
There is one here.
Went everywhere.
Just so you know, the future.
Sorry, everyone online.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not even that tall.
So it sounds like you've got two different unrelated errors. There was the issue with everything moving to OneDrive, that
Yeah.
breaking your ability to install things, and then also this
Yes.
Stan is troublesome, it seems.
Yeah, and I've never used Stan, so I'm just learning how to use this to start learning how to run Bayesian models. So I have no idea where to even start with this or who to approach to.
Interestingly, I get
Error.
a completely different error running your exact same script.
Different error, but it's still an error.
But still an error. Mine said the parameter V1 is not a valid distributional or non-linear parameter. Did I forget to set something? So I may have completely, no, I definitely did set N1 equals true, but maybe I'm missing a
Is your
space.
data.
Could be a version difference. An R version difference.
That's the code I'm running there from the website. So that's where I got that information from, and just to test the model. So that one's relating to the BRMS one.
So I found a GitHub bug chain that says downgrading R to R 4.02 and R tools from 42 to 40. So downgrading R apparently could fix it.
Downgraded. Okay.
Both R and RStudio or just R?
Just R.
I don't think I even have the updated version because I need permissions to download that file.
Oh, God.
What's the name?
Is that a UQ machine or your personal?
It's a UQ one.
Okay, so you should be able to use Software Center, but Software Center is stuck at whatever version I'm stuck on at the moment, which is
I'd be on that one. Whatever.
build 446 of 2023-031. That's the one that's in the software
Okay.
center at the moment. You can download something more recent, but you'd have to have local admin access.
Yeah.
Luke broke his computer.
No, mine seems to be actually compiling.
Yours is working.
So when I copied the code from the website, thank you, because I must have typed wrong because I was just typing what you had on the screen. Mine's compiling. It prompted me. It started the compiling in stand thing, and then it asked me to download build tools, which I said yes to, and now it's telling me it's going to take. Well, it did say 48 hours, but now it's down to 3 minutes. So it's installing something to actually compile. So mine is attempting to compile. And I updated my RStudio and R at the start of this session. So I'm using the most recent versions. Hasn't worked yet, but I'm not getting a wall of red errors.
What's the name
Can
of
we,
the
I mean, it could-
I clicked yes really quick.
Scroll to the top of this.
Computer asked yes or no, and I said yes.
Francisca, you just copied and pasted this in from the website? Because I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
I know occasionally get stray control characters and stuff.
Luke, what version of R are you running?
431.
No, I didn't write this code myself. It was just to check it.
What version are you running?
Well, on the Stan Dev website, it says that RStan is not compatible with R 4.3 or R 4.2, but it is compatible with R 4.0. However, Luke is apparently have it running on 4.3. So I don't know.
It's not running, it's just attempting to compile. It hasn't
Okay.
actually compiled
Has an error
successfully yet.
RStan is a different package.
Yes, it does.
It's not CMD RStan. Yeah.
It's just RStan.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because it's Mac and it's, fooling us all?
No, I'm surprised the Mac hasn't blown up. It's gone from 3 minutes to download to 12 minutes.
My apologies.
So yeah, I don't think it's going to get going. But I didn't get the red error that you got as soon as you tried to compile. Like yours doesn't even attempt to compile. It just says starting to compile and then goes red errors.
Oh, but it took a while to come out though.
Yeah, it takes a little while to process it.
So, and as I said, it got to the end. It got to the linking stage, and it was trying to link all the bits together, and then it failed. It actually wasn't too far from the end, but
Yeah, I'm trying to recreate following the same website.
Did you have you done a check to see if you've got the tool chain set up?
I think I did check that. Let me check if I
So that code I just put into the chat.
check CMD Stan tool.
Yeah,
Can that one?
yeah.
So set up properly.
Well, you will have to library, like load it as, what would you say? Not have it just installed, but also load it, right? And you did, you have.
Yeah.
In the code, you have the first 2 lines. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the CMD
Got it.
Stan
Okay.
one that's loaded.
Okay, let's go back one step. What do you want to accomplish?
I am learning to run Bayesian models on Stan. So Stan is the platform, I think, for running these kinds of models. And so I don't know how to run them. So I'm just installing the packages to prepare that. And so this was just a testing model to see if I had installed the package properly. And that's where it's failing at the test.
And do we have, to your knowledge, are there alternative packages that will have similar function? You probably already looked at this.
And mine broke.
I had tried RStan,
Yeah.
but I was having issues as well, but I tried those while it was installed, the same problem installer. I do have like I'm not sure what, it's not going to be very useful. Like I do think it has something to do with the make error, because when I was troubleshooting this before and I didn't copy down the code, I get this error on the screen. So it says here, the
Make would use.
is on OneDrive, and I'm not I'm not sure what this has to do with this particular code I'm running.
Yeah.
But in other times it's stopped because of this make.
Yeah, mine's mentioning,
sorry.
my errors are mentioning make, but I don't see that line.
I don't see, yeah, this is one I saved from before when we were trying to troubleshoot it with my supervisor.
But when before you put the local installation?
No, this is just last week. So everything, I haven't touched it since last week. I was going to come see if anyone was experiencing any similar problems here before I go back to IT.
Well, it's clearly looking at the OneDrive, and it needs to stop looking there.
I'm not sure how to change that directory maybe to where.
Can we,
And so the other thing is Nick and I and Valentina are on library computers. We're not on ITS computers either, which makes it a different environment.
Yeah.
I also don't have the
But-
C++ toolkit set up, so I'm saying I want to else to do that too.
but, can you open your file explorer, please?
Yeah.
And go to user, so this computer, and then go to something that resembles users or C users.
Interesting.
So that one.
Oh, you don't have users.
By users.
Oh, yeah, there. Okay, cool. Is there your username in there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Can we see any R stuff in there?
Maybe in document.
It might be under app data.
App data.
You have to type it manually up in the bar. So / app data, capital A, yeah, that one. And then if you go under local, you'll find R.
What are we looking for?
So does this mean? And if, but this is the C drive, CC, it's not like a little map into her OneDrive, right?
Correct. This is her C drive. I'm very confused about it all. I can't say, I'm just gonna cover it because the
Yeah.
Zoom toolbar is covering what I want to look at.
Thanks everyone for being patient and, sticking around while we're trying to solve this mystery. If you do need to leave, we understand. If you do have a question, shoot, and maybe we can help.
Oh, reverse scroll.
We're kind of running out of ideas for the other issue.
I'm gonna ask if OneDrive was even turned on, which it is, because sometimes I have issues with OneDrive when it's not on. I have to open it when I turn the computer on, otherwise I have issues because it's trying to find stuff in OneDrive, but OneDrive not actually open.
Francisca, how did you start the RStudio? Did you double click? Could you just show the properties of that RStudio link on the desktop?
Which one, sorry?
Just in that window you just had open before,
Oh, yeah.
where it says RStudio, could you right click on that and find out what it is?
Yeah.
On the right hand side, in the right hand window, where it says RStudio.
Yeah.
It's a shortcut to something.
No, in the Explorer, just above Spotify.
Right click,
Properties.
properties.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's on the local disk. Okay. All right, so that's not it. I mean, well, yeah, I'm in the middle of something, so I'm a bit loath to sort of start butchering my installation here, but I'm running an ITS standard image, and it's just been updated to Windows 11 recently, and the wheels didn't completely fall off. But I think so. Both BMRS and the other thing, the CMD stat R, they're both sort of from sort of artificial repos, I guess. And I'm thinking that's always a risk, I suppose, with this stuff. How good is this person's software?
So that make error you were getting, you're not getting anymore.
No, I probably would. I just can't remember. I should have saved everything there.
You can't remember.
That
how
was
to
there.
get
I can't remember how we got to that step. It was during troubleshooting, and I've got it all on like my history browser for the online. So I might probably have to sit down with someone like for some time to go through all the errors that I've checked online. And
I mean, it's painful, but I mean, what you might need to do is actually get rid of everything and start again. So
That's
reinstall.
where I was almost going, David.
Clean start, because you got too many things going on here at the moment. It's just work out.
Fully uninstall the toolkit, fully uninstall the R and RStudio and just reinstall it all.
everything.
And wipe everything that is in either OneDrive or C. Related to R.
Yeah.
Don't try to look for.
I mean,
this.
I'm using. I've got a little project at work at the moment, and I'm keeping it on OneDrive, but I keep I'm pushing it off to version control on Git on a Git site. So that's sort of working for me at the moment. But I'm always on VPN, and I'm sort of or on campus. So it's not. It's always there, and it has so far. It hasn't let me down. But if I keep local copies of data files and things. So I when I'm reading big files, I read them off the local disk. That seems to help. But yeah, the software center should install into the local hard drive. If you build with that version, with that installation, it should build into the local hard drive as well, all the packages. So it should be able to find everything it needs, unless. Well, I don't know.
Is it possible that all the files were moved to the cloud somehow? Like all the ones that are on my local disk are ones that I've just created in the last week because I had problems with. So now it's even more messy because I've got half of my documents all on OneDrive and very few on the local disk. And it used to be all local. Like I remember I chose them so that they wouldn't be on OneDrive. But since the updates last month.
Yeah, I think they were trying to be helpful doing that mapping, but they definitely have made it very confusing because there is all this automatic stuff that we don't even know that is happening.
Yeah. Don't understand.
Yeah.
So you went through the getting started with Commander Stand guide.
Yeah.
And what point did that trip over?
Well, at first just installing the package, and then I'm not sure because my supervisor did the part to try and get to this stage, and then he got stuck on the make part. And so I took a screenshot of what I could see, and then I've tried to run the model again to get whatever I got originally. So I don't know if there's anybody that might be able to help, even to restart it. I don't want to lose any of my documents for my PhD.
Of course.
Everything's on there, so I don't want to.
Oh, what if, wait, is this gonna help? No, sorry. No, sorry, I had an idea and it was a bad idea. It's just that I thought maybe you could try running it in one of the library computers.
Try running that code. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the.
I mean, but I'm saying that, but then again, like Luke is actually trying in his computer and.
I've given up. It took too long when it kept bouncing between 11 minutes and 12 hours. I'm like, I'm not waiting 12 hours for this to install. But yes, a different computer.
A different computer that actually doesn't have a OneDrive associated, because if any student will log in into the UQ computers
Correct.
as a
It doesn't have
student,
OneDrive
it
associated.
won't be having anything
Correct.
trying to back up stuff.
Correct.
You do not have writing rights, but still you have your session and you have the little H drive. You need to save some files.
You should be setting up the C++ toolchain.
Yeah.
The
Won't be
what?
able to- The C++ toolchain, you need to set that
A
up.
tool sheet, but wait, but through SendWorks, doesn't she have a little bit of power to do something?
That's a
No,
very specific thing to have to run the installation. Like I don't have that installed on my computer. I'd have to Go through some steps to do
So
that.
yeah, when it tries to install, it'll ask for admin and password.
Do you own personal computer at home? Do you
I don't have one.
Lucky.
I got rid of it when I got this one. I thought I would have all my problems were solved with this.
Surprise.
What we might do is go and play ourselves.
Mhm. And
This is gnarly.
your OneDrive now,
Mhm.
and you click on admin.
OneDrive and do admin.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's under admin. Sorry, I might be telling you the wrong one.
Like settings.
No, it's in the, sorry. It would be under documents.
Mhm.
Do you see anything about R in there?
In documents.
Yeah, in the OneDrive and inside documents.
There will be a file there for R. But that's just because it's the one that I was using earlier.
But it's something that you set up.
Yeah, it's not even there right now. There's a
and the top.
CMD, oh, there it is.
Oh, hang on, whoa, have a look at that folder there called .cmd stad.
Yeah,
What's that got in it?
that is just an old installation. So that's when I was having issues. I do have that on the local one
But
as
that
well,
looks,
which is my
but that
read.
looks like it might contain configuration information, which may be getting picked up and,
Yeah, it might be hijacking.
So you think delete that?
Or
no,
clicking-
just have a look at it. Let's find out what it is first. Is that the version you installed?
Yeah, the first round. I've got this
Oh,
one.
this is like a
But this is
download of the
one.
whole thing.
Yeah, it's possible that if you've got configuration files of Command Center on your OneDrive, even though you've got it installed elsewhere and you're hoping to use that, it's finding those ones on the OneDrive and using those.
Okay,
Yes, it is, because the lib, what's the date on the lib folder? It's covered over.
May. Oh, leave, sorry.
Oh,
maybe.
okay, so that's for when you download it. But see the bin directory got updated a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
Mhm. Would it be, David, do you think it would be advisable for her to just delete that one in and start a new R session and run the code again? Perhaps?
Build CMD stad again. Yes, I would think so.
okay.
So we've had this problem with people who've moved from our old HPC to the new HPC. They just thought they could come across and just drag stuff over and it would work. Well, it doesn't. And sometimes you've just got to do the hard work and delete the old and rebuild. So this looks like it's
Rebuild
probably
it,
part of the
understood.
installation you did while you were on OneDrive. We
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we need to make that go away.
Yeah, the good news is that
Don't-
Francesca, she already, yeah, delete that one.
So the R experts in the room think we should get rid of that folder? Go on. Okay, good.
Yeah.
There's nothing on it.
Thank you. Thank you. The thumbs up in the camera. I need to run. I'm gonna keep trying it though, because I'm curious now.
Sorry, we are deleting the
We understand.
stand thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I started
That's
getting
a huge-
nervous.
that's a lot of files. Yeah, that's a lot of files.
And that's the OneDrive one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Can you show us more details? Just click on the more details, please. Just want to make sure we're not.
so it should be, yeah, it's on.
Okay.
So then if we go down to the local one. It should be somewhere here. That's a newer one.
Look at all the main things.
Why? I think I'd probably just need to reinstall everything.
Okay,
Yeah, well, I think that is the kind of the unhappy sort of last resort. But I think it might be in this situation. You've got the version of R from the software center. Is that what you've got?
Yeah.
You've got the software center thing there. If you type in the search at the bottom of the screen there, if you just type in software center. Here you go, the app. And then search for RStudio.
R or
RStudio, yeah. you'll get everything with a letter R in it. I think it's I think there's no space.
Maybe we'll get results. Oh no, it needs to have a little space.
There is a space. Oh, okay, sorry. Maybe it's just R and RStudio. Let me see what it looks
So
like.
weird.
Right. Software Center.
I'm very surprised.
It's not coming up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, it's most recent. Change the sort order to alphabetical by name.
Mhm.
Application name A to Z or Z to A. Then scroll down the bottom.
That's at the bottom.
Oh, did it? But it
Yeah,
didn't
keep going
search.
down R. It'll be capital R.
There we go. Oh no.
Oh wow.
I've got R 4.3 with RStudio 2023.03. Blah 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 -446. So it hasn't changed recently.
Yeah, go on. No, keep going the way. Yes. You're getting there. No, that's it.
Okay.
We don't have our in
Why
there.
don't I have on?
It's a different question, but it's a good question. This is.
Oh, that's
Did-
bizarre. So
Did you?
if you go back to sorting by most recent, I've got
Sort by most recent.
yeah. Mine came up. R is the third one on the list. Scroll up to the top. Yeah, so I've got the Windows subsystem thing, and I've got the costing tool, the breeding program, and then I've got R. This is bizarre.
Maybe because it's already no. You would have R already on your computer. But not that I'm
No, it's just this is a service that's provided. My understanding was it was the same for everybody who had an ITS supported computer.
You have our tools installed on the OneDrive.
R
This is going away from what we're currently doing,
Can have a look.
because I think our tools is the tool chain that it uses to compile Stan,
Yes.
and
Would it be in the folder with all the packages, or would it be separate?
But you've got all of that stuff in the documents. You need to get that stuff out of
Get rid
documents.
of all of it.
Well, they don't get rid of it, but move it out of the documents folder, because the documents folder is the desktop and the documents folder. The pictures are now captured as part of OneDrive.
Yeah. Okay. So that all needs to move.
You don't have to delete them, but you have to. You would probably want to drag them down somehow. It hasn't synced at the moment. It's got the little cloud icon there, so you have to wait for a green tick before it's fully synced.
you go into R.
Okay.
You go into R there. Go down to you go down to the Win library. Go into 4.0. You go down to R.
Let me get some more.
UQRUG.
Can always move on.
I just wanted to see what was in there. It doesn't look like our tools is there necessarily.
No, it doesn't seem to save it with.
But this is all for version 4.0.
These are all my packages since I started using.
So
Our standard on there because I tried to download it on there. But that's separate.
can we have a look at the 4.3 one that you have over on the C drive?
Yep.
R tools 43. Hang on. Where's that
Oh,
gone?
43.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, Win library. Yeah, go on.
Yep.
That's 4.0. And then you've got R tools 4.43, which I assume is 4. Yeah, I think you've got. So I think that's a problem as well. You might need to be very careful about mixing and matching versions.
Yeah,
Although the good news is, from what Nick said before, that going back to version 4 is probably what you need to do.
Well, sorry, that was for R Stan, not Commander Stan R.
Oh, right.
Sorry, yeah, I was rookie error there, assuming that similarly named things were similar.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
But
I have some-
it's using the 4.3 make, but it might be trying to make with 4.0 libraries. And that would be see your Win library is actually 4.0.
yeah. I was showing.
But I'm certainly no expert at this level, but I'm pretty good at spotting things that are a bit odd.
I think this is what I did last time to check the make. So I've got the code of what went wrong last time, if that helps.
Okay, it's library.
I suppose when you run it, I guess.
Oh, directory equals dot. So, oh, okay.
This was just to check.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking. So if you're installing into a directory,
Yeah.
dot is wherever you are. So where were you when you did that? Oh, you didn't.
I was on the local one, so that was to reinstall everything properly.
Was that 4.0 or 4.3? This is where we need to. I think
And that.
bleeding it out and going back and doing it again. But maybe what you do is you take the 4.3 away. If that's
Take 4.3.
well, or make sure that you're using 4.0 when you're actually starting the R, I think.
So the 4.0 error that I think that was relating to Stan R though, like 4.3 should work,
Okay.
but I couldn't see any reason why it wouldn't work. At least.
But if I was a linker and I was presented with a couple of different paths and one of them was 4.0, so I could very well understand that I'd have trouble trying to link against, differing versions or multiple versions of things. So your Win library is 4.0. I don't know how that got there, but.
So everything, so the directory should actually be this. There, so if I were to type, for example, that into the directory when I'm installing into there instead of the dot.
Maybe that would be that would secure, would take that uncertainty away.
I think now, so if I look into that where I think the reason we did that was because it was automatically installing into the OneDrive. So
yeah,
I think we changed to a local one to be the main one.
You built a bunch of packages there, Tibble and Arlang and Lifecycle Glue, and those things are all they're packages that you would have done in install.packages.
Yeah, all of these are packages.
But you did that. So whichever version of R you use to do that is, I think, your version of R you need to make sure you use to do the rest of it.
Sorry about the video thing. I hope that it's not too disturbing. I think you guys do your troubleshooting. I'm sorry, David, that we don't have an image right now. I was just trying to show you them. Now I killed the camera.
So this is already installed. That should be fine. You shouldn't need to run that again. See if it's theoretically working. So you should just be able to run that.
Up to there.
Right?
Yeah.
So is that different to what area you're going before?
So this is here, yeah. Yeah, that's a different.
But did we do the first part first?
Yeah, just do it from the top, I guess.
Do everything.
Let's see what. Let's
Just do
change
the
the
little
directory?
pieces. There's too much going on here. So let's just do the build and see and change the path. Yeah, okay.
I think I had checked, so Okay, that was the working
No, you're on the
directory.
OneDrive, you see, so you've got to get out of there. So use your RStudio file browser thing to change your working directory.
So put it as this here, as a working directory.
Yes, but you could,
Yep.
well, you could do that a number of ways at RStudio, but yep. Yep, so WD there.
Oops.
You're missing one closed. Yeah, I find that frustrating about this.
Get working directory. So there it is. So install.
That does stuff. Let's try and resolve that particular issue that you're getting, where it's defaulting to a cloud-based working directory. What's your non-cloud working directory?
It's right at the bottom. There is none on there. You have to scroll right down to the bottom, go to the C drive. Does that make
At the moment, your downloads directory is safe from OneDrive, but it may not be that way forever. But so I tend to do a lot of that stuff in my downloads directory. Just create.
Okay.
That a good working directory, or just that?
I get, yeah, maybe there, because I haven't had to use it, that I don't know.
So I'm just changing the default working directory so it's not bad.
Yeah, good.
Seems to be causing some issues.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny things going on here.
So that's installing Stan. Is that what's happening there?
Yeah,
Francisco, is your laptop supported by ITS, or do you have local IT support?
What school are you in?
I'm with School of Veterinary Science.
That'd be ITS.
Yeah, right. It's just bizarre. I didn't think there should be any difference in the software center for people. That's
Yeah. The software center can be so weird. Different things to different people.
yeah.
I did have it last week, so I'm not sure why it's not on there.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because we reinstalled it. I did get IT help last time I was out of Gatton.
Oh, maybe. Oh, but hang on. But oh, okay. So I've got the same version that appears in the software center, even though I've got it installed. So, you know, like I suddenly thought, oh, maybe because you've got it installed, it doesn't show up as an option to install, but you should be able to uninstall it using the software center as well. This looks better because it's using that 4.0 path. What was that? Red. Oh yeah, okay. TAR, that's all right. It's warnings. It's not bad.
The camera app might be hogging.
Huh?
The camera app might be hogging the webcams. The
What is
webcam.
hogging?
Zoom can't get it because the camera app has it.
Thank you. What the, I'm sorry, but you tried to, oh, this is what I was, I mean, right?
What are you trying to do?
Move it.
Okay, so it said it's built.
Bill?
Um,
Not yet.
the library line 3 should be after line 4, I think.
That one there, yeah.
You're going to build it before you use it. Okay, so now run line 4. Okay.
So I'll
Now
have to
the
change.
CMD so try the stand path thing.
So I'll have to change the directory, I imagine, if this one is set CMD stand path. Because that was the old one. So
But hang on a minute, we're sorry, I didn't see that. So we're still running version 4.3 of R. But we're trying to build. Is this just one of these things that it says 4.0 for any version of 4, or
I think it's that's just where the
some
Bible
releases were a separate folder? Let me have a look on a. How can I do that?
It's definitely running 4.3. But you can see that at the top of the console before. Can't see it right now, but
I'm just wondering why there's not a 4.3 folder. One folder. 4.2. Now it does have a version. So on the HPC, I've got a 4.2 folder because that's the version that's over there. So I'm just a bit concerned. However, you got a 4.0 folder, that may be part of the problem.
okay.
Anyway, let's try CMD stand path. You did that already? Yeah.
CMD
About
stand right, yeah.
what about the stand flags thing? Is that? Let's try that diagnostic. Line 9.
So there's a make error.
And C flags. Right. So we need to set that. I don't know how you set it, but C users. Yes. Okay, so rather than reinstalling the whole thing, what we could do is make sure you don't save your R data or your the R environment fresh.
Sorry, did you want me to do something with the environment?
Well, clearly it still thinks it's supposed to look on the OneDrive, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I think there was.
It's also trying to make, and I wonder if it's because the OneDrive path probably has a space after the word OneDrive. So maybe that's part of the problem, but you would think it would be used to that. Well, we run this sort of troubleshooting session on Tuesday afternoons at 3 o'clock. You'd be welcome to come along, bring this problem. We've always got somebody who knows R. It might be the Nick and David show again.
The hacky hour, yeah. Are we talking about the same thing? Yeah.
yeah.
Anything goes. I mean, if this was kind of peculiar to the HPC environment, then I'd suggest you come along on Thursday mornings as well. But Tuesday afternoons are good for these sort of it's not working for me sort of problems, and it's not HPC.
And it's probably more likely that you're going to find someone who tried to use this package there than I mean, today you tried and
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah, my problem is I tried to go to IT at GADM, but they didn't understand R.
Oh, no.
And so then I tried, I think it's like one of those problems where it's to do with both the system and, well, I don't really understand also where things are stored. So it's partially my fault as well that I have a very unorganized filing of R things because I just
I wouldn't blame you because some of these things are wired on the background in a way that is not transparent to the user.
Yeah,
So yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm still
Yeah.
concerned about this 4.0 business. I can't help but feel that that's got to cause problems.
that's causing issues. I
Well,
have.
I don't know for sure, but I suspect it is because of the fact that you've. I don't even know how you must have had a version 4.0 on your system at some point.
It might have been when I just started using it.
Yeah,
So it's still using the old Win library.
The original one.
that could present all sorts of difficulties. I mean, that's 4.0 happened about 3 years ago, didn't it?
And that's when I downloaded it. So maybe it was all created.
Yeah, so that'll be the only. I mean, that's in terms of going back to basics. If you want to stick with the 4.3, which is the one from the, I guess, is the one from the software center. I mean, the way you do it on our HPC is basically you take the folder which has the 4.0 on it and you remove it completely, and then you have to then do a library or figure out which libraries you need and library load them or install them. And I'm surprised you're not getting warnings about all those things maybe you're not touching them at the moment, but there's always warnings about, such and such was built with version 4.0 or, and you need 4 point something, those sorts of things.
You're both on camera. There, I pointed the camera finally that way. So you can have the feeling that you're, they seeing each other. Yeah,
Could this make issue be something on the system though? Because I know we tried to change it somewhere.
Oh yeah, that is a problem. It's looking in the wrong place when it's trying to do the build part.
Okay.
So you need to stop that now. You might be able to change the value of that flag somehow. That you might check the C command, the CMD stan documentation about the software and see if it's possible to change that value. It might be in a folder. So if we go and have a look in CMD stan, there might be a configuration option in there. So if
The
you
one
do
we
it,
just
there's
downloaded?
the CMD stan 2.3.2. The make file, maybe the make file. I don't know. Down that's the folder. Go down to where it says make file. Open it with. Have you got? Oh, you need Notepad++, but just try Notepad. Just be careful not to save it. There you go. So your $home.config stan make.local. I reckon that's that. There we are. So stan C flags is for extra options when calling stan C. Is there a stan C flags in that file? Could you do a find? Do a Control F. Stan C flags. It's got to be uppercase, I think. But try it.
Stan C
C
all
flags.
together.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see that there in the code.
Okay, you've got allowed defined. This is kind of compilation speak. But what I'm concerned about is that back up there, it was using your $home, and your $home is your, I think is your OneDrive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what you could do is go back to RStudio and do a system, whatever it is. How do you did it before? You showed us the value of a variable. It was a system. You did system something, system open brackets, and then you was it somebody else's code we're looking at?
System.
but maybe the setup on the file.
They're the only two parts of code that I have there.
No, it was you want to do a system call and you want to ask the operating system for the value of $home. So you could probably just do system system open brackets, and then you want to do, I guess it'd be what's this is
Home equals C, maybe?
If it was Linux, you'd say echo $home.
Oh,
So how do we do that in Windows?
What are we wanting to do here, sorry?
We want to echo the value of the $home variable.
To not be, because home now by default is the OneDrive. So what we want to do is instruct R.
That's what we did by changing the global environments. The default path, the default is that.
Do we have to restart this R session to get those settings?
Could I get you to?
Oh, maybe.
Before we do it, I just want to try one other thing. Could you paste in?
Sorry, David, we did hear you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
repeat it
I
now.
think restarting is probably worth doing.
Because when David was having a look of that, that transcript, it reflected that maybe it was the other thing. Like the OneDrive and not.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was concerned because it was using a variable which was $home, and then a path below that, and we're just looking for any plausible reason or way or way that it could have ended up using OneDrive instead of the local path.
So that's looking at the local path for the RTools. And you can see that's RTools 43. Whereas the other one we're trying to use is RTools 40.
Yep.
So would we be better off?
I think starting 40.
Like change it instead of installing Commandistan onto 40, installing onto 43.
Sure, but we don't. There's not a 43 directory, so there's nothing has been built. So maybe what we need to do is build.
But there is a 43 directory, isn't there? If you go to C.
Tools is 43, but so in the Win
There's no Win library 43.
Oh.
Yeah, Win library is.
There's only a 4.0. That makes me very suspicious.
Yeah.
But if you started the well, you've already got that RTools. If you were to try and create a install an application that you don't currently have, I wonder what it would do.
Which one?
If you go back to RStudio
And install something.
and go over to the right-hand side there where you've got the packages tab in the bottom right-hand corner.
You're doing it manually, which is also fine. You won't have GG dogs installed, and that's a nice little small package.
Let's give that a go.
So just install a brand new package. So just hit it as you're typing it in. So it's something new, not something old.
I think
You've already got those installed.
GG dogs.
So just what you were doing was correct, typing to the console.
Okay.
That's fine to do.
Yeah, sorry.
GG doll.
Yeah, you have to throw it in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, GG dogs. It's like a meme package. It's a fairly lightweight one.
Yeah, there you go. So it's going in. Oh, it's going into App Data Local 4.3. Okay.
So that's where everything was reinstalled. So when IT reinstalled for me
Okay,
a
so
few weeks
that's,
ago, they
so
moved
that's
it
actually
over.
the path we need. We need the C users username app data local R Win library 4.3. We need that in that.
Yeah, well, we have it there back in
Yeah.
there's the underneath installing package into. So if you copy from C through to 4.3 and then replace that with the set working directory in the install.
Yep.
Sorry.
So just copy that part and paste it up there, and let's try installing Commander there.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, good call on installing a package there, David.
Well, it's just I don't know. I don't normally operate at this kind of level, but I'm kind of good at spotting when things don't look right, or they're. But yeah, it's I don't know much, but
Yeah, I disappeared down a rabbit hole of bits and pieces that come back up.
That's how I spend most of my Tuesday afternoons.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be hacky hour, but invariably it goes for at least 2 hours. Personal best, I think, was 2 hours and 45. But we got there, we got a result, but it was, yeah, it was hard work. Bad binaries, yeah, good.
It takes a bit of time to install it.
So yeah, very big package.
So hopefully the when you come to then do the subsequent steps and in fact run your build, so it all along it's looked like it's been trying to jam together things that were incompatible, and if this fixes that, then that's going to be great.
Will I need to reinstall the BRMS one as well?
Yes.
Okay, in the same, I'll just drag that code forward. And you can just do,
Quotes and BRMS should just do it.
and then, oh, it's already in the set directory, so.
Yeah.
So there's a specific group for problems like this. And with the Tuesday group, what was the?
Well, there's expertise in all sorts of things available. But when Nick comes along, where our expertise peaks. So I mean, it depends. It's supposed to be a meetup. It used to take place at a coffee shop, and people would just be able to come along and ask any question, and we would try and find someone with the expertise. So there's always a kind of like a host who tries to sort of link people up with their expertise. But yeah, we get a lot of our questions, a lot of GPU stuff as well these days. So
GPU.
yeah, so the hardware for doing well, machine learning basically is run on AI models and sort of these software that sort of learn from a data set and then are able to do predictive stuff. That's all done with graphical processing hardware, which we've just taken delivery of just yesterday. In fact, it arrived on Monday, I think, and it's been unpacked and put in the rack. So we should have everybody be able to, no researcher will be not able to use artificial intelligence if they even if they don't need it, there'll be enough capacity. It's just such a bandwagon thing. It's everyone's on it.
Yeah, but it's okay to ask the question in both sessions. You're more than welcome to come here anytime, and hacky hour happens every week, so that that could be very, and also the panel of experts is really good. Like all the people that show up to help there is, you have like 10 people or so helping every week. Well, I don't know, maybe I'm rounding up big time, but it's people that really know a lot.
Yeah, like I'm the R expert, but I'm not the coding expert. People like David around this.
So there, it's finished installing, so
that looks good. Okay.
Okay, so there
so then do the CMD stand path.
So that's the right path.
Good. Get the flag, see what happens. Oh,
come on.
Yes. All right. All right. So let's. Could we flip back to that Notepad file? The
Is
make
that
file.
one
That's not open.
Sorry, just a second. I'm just.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go down a rabbit hole.
What if, Nick, I have a proposal. I mean, you guys can stay here working for as long as you want, but I mean, it's already 2:15.
Yeah, actually, I've got to get to a next thing.
So yeah, what I was gonna propose is to, like, if we could put this somehow in an email and both send it to, like, yes, bring it to Hacky Hour, but also send the inquiry to both David and Nick. Well, when I say Nick, just send it to training@library.uq.edu.au. And I think that if we can get it to work in any computer, then we will be somewhere.
Yeah.
And then we can go to make it work on your computer.
Yeah.
You know, because if we're trying to tackle two problems at the same time, which is the drives simultaneously with the actual package, whatever errors associated with the package itself, then it's, you know, then it's more difficult. We don't even know what are we dealing with, you know.
So we need to, I think there's possibly, well, can we have a look at your OneDrive path again, please, just in the file browser? Is there a space after it?
Yeah.
There.
So if I just go to documents.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so there's the problem. So I suspect that this package has been written on a Linux platform, and it doesn't like spaces, and it doesn't know how to, because it's only saying that the path is up to the word OneDrive, and everything else is ignored. And so, apart from the fact that it's wrong, it's also incomplete, and that's we've got to fix that. And I think we've got to figure out, possibly in the make file, or we could actually in the make file. Just got to know what the variable is that it's.
It's dropping the path at the space after drive.
Correct. So it's incomplete, and it's the wrong path anyway. So for both those reasons, we need to fix it. And I think it's in the Notepad file, if that's still open. So go back up to the top, the stank flags. Extra options for calling stank. So that's the variable that has the wrong value in it. So we need to give it the right value. But I don't know how to do that. But that's what I think needs to be done. We need to figure out what does it need. That's why we went down the rabbit hole of the dollar home, because it's looking for. Oh, maybe we should look at that place. So let's look for .config/stand/make.local. That will be within the stand installation, I think. You have a look at the file browser. Go down there. The app data thing.
Oh yeah, so that one, because I don't have access to the app data, so I'll type it out.
Are there
Where I go app data again?
That's the thing that Luke said. No, I don't know.
Okay.
That's the one, 4.3.
Local. It had it in there, didn't it? Before. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
And then this. So we're looking for
.config or .something. It's not there.
So that you don't have to remember. I think there are ways of showing hidden folders.
Yes.
Like the app.
is that?
It's a right click on the. I think it's options for the view or something. View up maybe where it says view at the top there.
Yeah, maybe search options.
Oops.
Like 3 dots.
Oh here.
I don't know, maybe it's under
View.
Under view options. Show
hidden items. There it is.
last one. There you go. All right, so it's so go back to the directory again. So maybe stop that search.
And then so go
go into the CMD stand 2.3 directory again. The source code, wherever the building happened, program files, wasn't it?
Yeah, so up program files.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep scrolling down.
R 4.3.0.
And then check here again. For this.
Yeah, I don't think that's where it's done. It's when the software built, it downloaded something. It downloaded a package, a bundle of stuff. I thought it put it down somewhere else. Whatever directory we're in. Could we? Oh no, that'll be.
It'll be when I install the.
Yeah, just go back to. Yeah, go back to the file manager. Actually, I will have to get going in a minute. Just scroll down. 4. Yeah, there it is. I think you just went past it.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. Where
There is a
let's
little
make sure we're
delay
not in.
because
Yeah, so CMD stand 2.232. That one just below the word R. That one there. Possibly in the make folder.
And that's make logic.
Reviewing the hidden things. Can you just check that view again that you're seeing hidden folders, hidden objects show? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, that's good. Yeah, all right. I think we need a deep dive on this. Even more than we've just been doing. Because I think we're going to have to get.
what are we looking for again? Like .bake.local?
HOME, yeah, that's it. That's the command. There you go. See, there's your problem.
There's the problem.
Yeah, the home is the wrong.
So how do we do that? So if we go.
It is, so we need to say home is not home. Although it may upset the. Oh, yuck.
No, we won't set home. We'll change the
variable that uses home.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, okay. No, go back to the notepad file because it was in the make file. It was actually setting it to $home and then some path relative to that.
Yeah.
The notepad thing is still open there, I think.
Is there something as simple as just like?
Oh, there is. Yeah, we could go back to the notepad file. I'll show you what it is. Sometimes you've got to butcher it to do that.
Yes, we will try that in 2 seconds, right?
Yeah. So there should be the option in command. So basically, in the article for command stand R, it says that it will use whatever's found in the user's home directory unless you set it using this set command stand path.
Oh, right. So you can set it that way. Okay.
So is that?
Also, I also like that. I have it down there, but I've got it with a hash in front with a different. Just now, I didn't do that because I thought we were already setting it.
Oh, there
But I just didn't put the right directory on there.
So
So I got to update that.
this is the right directory just with that added onto it at the end.
It's got to be the one I think with the set working directory at the top of the script.
Yeah.
It's going to be that
So
directory.
we grab that. Put that there. And then so then that's it. If this doesn't work, we go back to the notepad thing. Or that look right?
Yep.
Okay, so where are we gonna buy champagne to celebrate when we resolve this?
Yep.
So
So maybe try this. Get the CMD stand flags again.
same error.
Oh, you turkey. All right. So I think you need to actually force it. Yeah, if we go and have a look at that notepad, we should be able to change the make file. You might have to remake CMD stand. Oh.
So,
So see where it says $home? I think maybe
yeah.
we can change that to the directory that we want.
yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so.
Or look in R to see where we can find it. Is that?
Or this the stand C flags is currently only set to a couple of things. You could add options to that as well. So stand C flags is stuff that's passed to the compiler and the linker, and it is somewhere else in the file. It's there in a couple of places. If you just search for it.
We can change the value of the home directory in R.
Yeah, as long as that doesn't have unintended.
That's gonna give her problems always because it's going to
It's
the
always gonna throw
stupid one drive that has the spaces. So it's always gonna give her problems.
Let's put it in the equivalent. Just put it in your C drive document.
Is this a problem of restarting the computer because now she has installed R in the C, but this thing is still kind of like. Did you restart the program? That happened, right, during today's session after we deleted the things from.
Yeah, true. We haven't restarted, but we
Yeah.
can save all that stuff.
No, restart that. Okay, maybe let's start simple because the program kind of automatically sets up the home.
Yeah.
When.
Look, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get going.
Okay.
I've just got a 2:30 thing I've got to get to. So,
Okay.
but yeah, we'll hopefully we won't see you at the Hacky Hour. But if this page still persists, please come along to Hacky Hour, and we'll try and progress it, and we might even we could be bold, and we could actually try and build on a different platform. I'm also concerned that this is kind of Windows related nonsense, quite apart from the whole OneDrive thing, but just that there might be some peculiarities there. So we could even look at building this. So yes, if as has been suggested, if you could create a crafted email, if you send it to the training email address and the RCC support, then that will initiate. Just include the URL for the packages and your little code snippets, and then we can then take that and I can try and build us a software container that has a pristine sort of version of R installed there with whatever else it needs, and we'll just see what happens.
Sounds great.
Because I've always got this kind of nagging doubt that these sorts of things are somehow related between them, and because you're building something that the person who built that package may not have ever really tested it properly on Windows.
yeah.
But that
But
doesn't.
the thing is that
That's actually a path that makes sense now.
we are running it on other people's computers. So in our lab, this is a software. That's why I've asked people in my lab as well. Like it's a software that they use. It's not just anything that we found randomly. Like people are using it. It's something in my computer.
On Windows.
Yeah.
They are
They have the same computer that was given to them by the university. So
yeah.
But have they done it since the upgrade?
Yes.
that's the thing.
OneDrive.
Like I'm the one that's using it right now, which the upgrade was
So
only
I
like
wonder if it's something that's a consequence of the upgrade of the operating system that happened recently. All right.
yeah.
I think a Linux version of this would be very interesting to see, because at least I kind of a bit more familiar with how to diagnose it. All right, sorry folks, I'm gonna have to leave.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
everything.
David. I really appreciate you coming along to R.
Look, I'm impressed with that Quarto stuff. I'm gonna go nuts.
Well, it's Quarto is not just R. You can plug Python into it as well, of course.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's
It's been a bit of a bugbear of mine for about 20 years. The way that Microsoft documents intertwine formatting and content, and if you can somehow mechanize and I like the way this stuff is going. Having dynamic content is brilliant. So, alrighty.
I think it's actually working now. I think just changing the home directory is work because it's not thrown an error and it's been doing these chain things. I don't know what it's supposed to look like when it works.
That looks like normal output actually, because according to the website, it does in chain. So
I think it was as simple as just going set system environment
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah's got something.
Gosh.
Hey.
So you
Same.
Hang on, let me have a look around.
so you where did you open that? Where was this notepad file that you opened?
It was in the installation tree. There was a make directory, and that's the make file that the software uses when it compiles. So that's the instructions for.
Right.
And that's a standard sort of software development sort of thing. To have
So
a
that's
make.
inside here. There's a thing
Yep.
called make file, and you open that up because that's where the error is coming from.
Yep.
And then you look through there and found that it's looking at the home directory.
And I suspected that, but then I thought, oh well, maybe the home directory is actually the C drive. So I didn't press the point. But then when we actually tried to make changes and it still didn't work, then we were convinced that it was the wrong variable, and nothing, the computer hasn't imploded because the home directory was changed. So that should be fine.
This
That's
change.
excellent. I'll go away happy camper now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Awesome,
great.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see you and where we're gonna go celebrate Lucy.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
just so happy we got over
Thank
the finish
you.
line at the
No,
very end
me
there.
too.
And this solution, it's only for this script, or is this redefined?
This is like setting the system environment home that works for anywhere.
So anywhere, like, so as in after, I'm so confused. So this change that you made,
Oh, this is
It's
in R on, what's your name?
Fran.
Fran, on Fran's, on Fran's computer. So I'm gonna put down your question. Your question was,
So I'm glad I didn't get to an email because I don't even know how to articulate what the issue is that I'm having. So I'm so glad you're able to do that.
when we talk about that on UQRUG, it's recorded, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna end the session. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining until this time, and we will see you next time. If you have any questions, training@library.uq.edu.au. See you next time. Bye.